Hey, it's Mindy with Astrology by Love, here today to talk about the synastry between Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman. So we have recently heard in the news that they are breaking up. They have been together 19 years, which is like 3 lifetimes in Hollywood. So what attracted them to each other? Why were they such a good fit for so long? And what's going on that's recently caused this breakup? We're going to go over everything with these two. Thank you for hanging out with me today. We're going to get started with what they are attracted to individually, though. What it is that their soul vibrates and naturally brings in. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Keith's chart. So Keith Urban was born on October 26th, 1967 at 12:05 a.m. He was born in Wingawi, Northland, New Zealand. I probably said that wrong. Wingawi is spelled W-A-N-G-A-N-U-I. AstroCharts does rate this poor accuracy, so the moon may have shifted a little bit if the time's not correct. The houses may not be exactly perfect, but we're going to work with this. So this is the chart I'm working with for Keith Urban. So Venus in a man's chart is the type of woman he is attracted to. This is who he sees as beautiful. That's just kind of who gets his engines going, that Mars energy in a man. Venus in Keith Urban's chart is in the sign of Virgo. Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury. Its symbolism is that of the Virgin. Keith is attracted to someone who's more a traditional beauty. So Virgo's typically not wild, typically not out there, typically not doing a bunch of weird stuff. However, in Keith's chart, the planet Jupiter and the planet Pluto and Uranus are all in the sign of Virgo. So this is affecting Venus in his chart. Pluto brings in the flavor of intensity, focus. Uranus is a bit of a free-for-all, a devil-may-care sort of attitude. And Jupiter is just abundance. It's generosity. Venus in Virgo in Keith's chart isn't acting like just regular Venus in Virgo. There's a little bit of an electricity there, a hint of obsession and goodness. Typically, Venus in Virgo likes people who are healthy, likes people who are articulate. They are intelligent as well, clean, and not real showy. But in Keith's chart, with Venus being surrounded by these other planets, there's definitely levels to what it is to the woman that he is attracted to. Also in a man's chart, the moon represents our emotional bodies. It represents a man's mother, and it represents the type of woman he sees as a wife. So who a man sees as beautiful, fun, wants to date is Venus. Who a man sees as who he wants to marry is the moon. In Keith's chart, the moon and Venus have a close sextile. That's a 60-degree angle. These line up. They complement each other. This isn't always the case in a man's chart. But in Keith's chart, the moon is in the sign of Cancer. This is the sign that it rules. So Cancer is motherly, feminine, likes to do all those things in the home that we think of a traditional mother, a traditional stay-at-home woman doing. So Cancer is all about food, all about family, and this is who Keith is attracted to and attracts. This is what he sees as wife material. Now in his chart, the moon is in the first house. So he very much sees his wife as being part of his identity. Keith would not be someone who would be married and that person would be in the background, a secret, and we wouldn't know about them. Keith would very much feel comfortable and pretty much impulsive as telling people right away, I'm married, this is my wife, let me tell you about my wife. His identity is wrapped up in his wife, and in his younger years, he was known as being his mother's son. There is an asteroid called Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith is typically what we are attracted to, but in our mind, especially in our early years when we're insecure, we tend to have a little bit of shame wrapped up in Black Moon Lilith. We're attracted to it, but we don't want people to know. If this birth time of Keith's is correct or close to being correct, the moon also has a sextile to Black Moon Lilith, a very close one, within a degree. And so Keith's Black Moon Lilith is in the 10th house. So he would be attracted to someone who does very well in business, who is seen as a total and complete success, much like Nicole Kidman is. Venus in Keith's chart is also closely trine Black Moon Lilith. So it's off by 4 degrees, but that influence is still there, still feeling it. So he can very much have a lover be attracted to a woman. She still needs to be good at business. She still needs to be rocking it. Not as strongly as the wife, but the influence of Venus trine Black Moon Lilith is still there. And this is how Keith Urban's soul is created. This is what he is attracted to. This is what he's looking for. Another layer to look at when it comes to what a man or a woman is looking for when it comes to a marriage partner is the asteroid Juno. So in Keith's chart, Juno is in the sign of Libra. So it's at 12 degrees of Libra. So Juno was Zeus's wife. This is the asteroid that shows just another layer of what we see as marriage material. So with Keith's Juno being in the sign of Libra, he sees a marriage partner as someone who is into a balanced relationship. It's a give and take. Libra is the sign of relationships. Libra is also ruled by Venus, so this takes us back to that Venus in Virgo yet again. This is very complimentary. Nicole Kidman is thought of as refined, as very dignified, as beautiful. And so Keith's Juno is in the sign of Libra. Next, we're going to talk about Nicole Kidman's chart. So Nicole Kidman was born on June 20th, 1967 at 3:15 p.m. in Honolulu, Hawaii. AstroCharts rates her accuracy of this chart as being excellent. In a woman's chart, we are looking at masculine planets, masculine energies, to see what it is that she is attracted to. The first thing I noticed when I looked at Nicole's chart is that the planet Mars is in the sign of Libra in the 12th house. So very much Nicole's version of masculinity is one that is good with relationships. Good at going back and forth, that balance, being distinguished, being refined, being definitely a gentleman. However, in the 12th house is the house of secrets. It's the house of things we cannot see. And I bet if Nicole was here and was honest about her love life, she has had a lifetime of men stepping out on her. So Mars in the 12th house tends to either be a cheater or to get cheated on. With Mars being in the sign of Libra, it doubles down on this relationship energy being secretive. And perhaps this could be the exception to the rule. Mars in the 12th house could be motivated by secret societies, by secret keeping of all kinds. This is someone who could be a spy for the CIA in another country and not necessarily cheating. However, cheating is definitely the most prevalent way that I see this playing out. Nicole Kidman's sun is in the sign of Gemini, so this is a very talkative, very communicative, likes a lot of stimulation, likes to just keep things going. Boredom is not something that Geminis do well with. The sun in the 8th house is in the house of secrets. These are the secrets we know. A lot of times these would be secrets that Nicole keeps for her husband, for her man, and probably when she was younger, she kept secrets for her father. Now, in a woman's chart, we also want to look at Jupiter. So Jupiter is where we get our blessings. It's our protection. Jupiter would probably be the best version of a husband that a woman could have. So Jupiter in Nicole's chart is in the 9th house. This is the house of faraway places we can't see. As an astrologer, I would hope that Nicole would lean into and marry someone from a different culture, a different land. Keith Urban is from Australia, New Zealand, so she definitely did that. Jupiter is also close to the MC. The MC is how we're seen in the world. It's our career accomplishments. It's the legacy we're leaving. With Jupiter right next to the MC, Nicole would want a man who was prominent, who was very successful, very well known for what he is accomplishing. Also with Jupiter in the sign of Leo, Leo is the sign of the performer. So it likes creativity, it likes to be on stage, it likes to be seen. So Nicole found all these characteristics in Keith Urban as someone who was from another country, from another culture. What's nice about Nicole's Jupiter as well is that it has a loose trine, that's that 120-degree angle, to the planet Saturn. So this stabilizes Jupiter. This shows that not only is abundance there, it's a normal thing, it's a consistent thing. So Saturn is in the sign of Aries. That makes it easy to have boundaries, to put ourselves first when Saturn is in Aries. And so someone abundant with strong boundaries that puts her first is what Nicole is looking for and attracted to in this lifetime with her soul, with her natal chart. Then we also look at Juno in a woman's chart as well. Juno in Nicole Kidman's chart is in the 10th house. So once again, this is career and legacy. Nicole wants a husband who is excellent at business, who is seen and known for what he does. This is, again, in the sign of Leo. So this is the performer. This is that person that likes to be on stage, is funny, is creative. And this is how Nicole Kidman's soul vibes, and this is who she attracts in as a marriage partner. So now let's look at the Synastry chart. This is when we put two natal charts together to see how they interact. So we're going to put Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman's charts together to see, is this a good thing? So when we put Nicole and Keith's charts together, one of the things I really like about their connection is that the planet Mercury is loosely trine. So in Keith's chart, Mercury is at 16 degrees of Scorpio, and in Nicole's chart, her Mercury is at 20 degrees of Cancer. So I know Mercury is not necessarily the love planet, but when you're married to somebody, you want the timing in your life, you want your communication to flow. It's so much easier being with somebody when you have a natural understanding of how they think and you agree with it. It's complementary. And so they have this beautiful way of speaking, of understanding each other. And these are in water signs. So this is an emotional understanding as well. With Keith having Mercury in Scorpio, a lot of times he's just able to intuit or just kind of feel the vibe of what Nicole's thinking. Also, what's lovely about Nicole having Mercury in the sign of Cancer is that it lines up, it's right next to Keith's moon. So the way that she thinks, the way that she speaks, makes him feel emotionally secure. It's how he thinks a wife should think and how he thinks a wife should speak. So this is a great connection. Then in Nicole's chart, she has got her south node at 5 degrees of Scorpio. So whenever the nodes are activated in a Synastry chart, it's just like little pulses of electricity. This is the person that you don't know, there's just something there and it feels good. So Keith's sun is at 1 degree of Scorpio. It's within 4 degrees of this south node. So this is showing they may have even had a past life connection. But there is a familiarity there. Keith feels really good to Nicole. And this would have caused some sparks whenever they first met. They just would have felt special. They also both have Saturn in the sign of Aries. So both of them are very clear about their own personal boundaries. They are both really good at putting themselves first and taking care of themselves as a natural way of living. This just comes natural to them. This is how they're wired. Keith's Saturn is at 7 degrees of Aries, and so this gets even closer to that trine with Nicole's Jupiter in the sign of Leo. When two people have their Saturn in the same sign, it makes it easier. So there is a natural understanding of what commitment means to them, of what is expected in terms of consistency, what a structured commitment looks like, how it should feel, how it should behave. Nicole and Keith were born in the same year. Saturn changes signs every 2.5 years, so it's not unusual for people born in the same year to have the same Saturn. So that is a blessing. So we talked about Keith's moon is in the sign of Cancer. So he's very easily able to process his emotions, talk about them, know what it is that he is feeling. Nicole's moon is in the sign of Sagittarius. So this is a passionate moon. This is someone who needs to feel that spark, to just rush after it and go. The Sagittarius moon has to talk about their feelings in order to really even know what it is that they're feeling, but they're passionate about it either way. So while there's some things in their chart that make sense, that go together, their emotional natures are very different. Now, with Keith's moon, Nicole's Mercury is right there at his moon. So he has probably felt emotionally supported, like she is there, the way that she thinks about his emotions, speaks about his emotions. With Mercury lined up with this moon, Nicole does very much think about how he feels. However, unfortunately, Nicole does not get that same emotional support. There's not a lot of support in Keith's chart towards the way that Nicole actually feels. So this can be a little bit of a difficult placement whenever the moons don't line up, because a marriage is very much an emotional relationship, and you want to feel like your partner gets you, is there, has your heart, and is concerned about it. Another frustration they may have had with Keith's Venus in the sign of Virgo, he can be a little persnickety about things, articulate, like things just a certain way. And women a lot of times express more from their moon. So Nicole may come about seeming more of a Sagittarius than a Gemini. And so the passion that she feels, the things that she goes after, the ways that she expresses herself, may rub Keith the wrong way when it comes to what he appreciates and what he finds beautiful. Now, obviously, Nicole is a beautiful woman. I'm not saying Keith doesn't find her beautiful, but there have been times in the relationship over the years, I am sure, when what Keith has wanted to do in order to have fun, enjoy himself, the art he's wanted to buy, or the food he's wanted to enjoy, hasn't really matched up or lined up with what Nicole would enjoy. What's also interesting in the Synastry is that Juno in both their charts isn't really as catered to as much as you would like. So while yes, Nicole wants a husband who's good in the industry, who's a performer, there's not any planets necessarily that line up with that. That is who Keith is, that exudes, but it's not, there's not connections there like you can sometimes see when you do Synastry charts. Also, in Keith's chart, remember he's got Juno in the sign of Libra. So this is near Nicole's Mars. So Mars is the masculine part of ourselves. It's how we go after things, what turns us on. And so the masculine part of Nicole really kind of triggers that Juno in Keith. Her being motivated to be in a relationship, to have balance, for things to be refined and gentle. Keith does enjoy that. That's a natural attraction there. And Nicole and Keith's relationship, like every other relationship, has its positives and has its struggles, its things to overcome. So no relationship is perfect, and they've been together a long time. What happened? So as I mentioned earlier, Nicole has the planet Mars in the 12th house. So while Keith doesn't necessarily carry the energy of being a cheater, Nicole has that in her soul. And so whenever two souls combine like this, those masculine impulses that is in Nicole's chart tends to come out in the men. And so Keith has had that impulse with Nicole that he may not have that impulse with other women. But that's been there for 19 years. So this is not something new. What went on recently? Well, two things have been going on. So number one, Saturn has moved back into the sign of Aries. So both Nicole and Keith are having their second Saturn return. So Saturn is coming into test to restructure how they have set up their lives, the structures in their life. Is it working? There's been pressure. Saturn was just there for 90 days. He's going to be coming back through in February. He's going to be there another 2 years. Whenever Saturn comes about and tests the structures in our life, marriage is one of those structures. Also, what's recently happened is we have gone through the Aries Libra eclipse cycle. And so this has been causing shifts, realizations about the structures in their lives. That's once again marriage. And then Mars in that 12th house of Nicole's chart has been activated by these eclipses. So the eclipse is going on, and then the Saturn return is causing the pressure. This is probably what's causing the triggers. That urge to cheat and step out that Keith has had has definitely been brought under pressure of the universe. So anyways, that's what's going on with Keith and Nicole right now as Saturn continues to move forward over the next 2 years, starting in February. They may be able to work this out, but infidelity's hard enough a lot of times without it being in the public spotlight. So both of these are public figures. So I'm sure we will see how their divorce proceeds as we watch what's going on. So I appreciate y'all hanging out with me today. Please like and subscribe. If you would like a Synastry reading for yourself and your marriage partner, significant other, parent, child, we can put any two souls together and find out what's going on, how they tick. The link for that is also down below. So I appreciate you hanging with me. Y'all have a wonderful day. I will see you again soon.